Hey YouTube, it's Alan. So now that I've just done a 4 years on T update video, I am going to give you a bit of a life update because sometimes you guys ask questions about what I'm doing. And also I'm at a super different place in some ways than I was a year ago when I did sort of a life update video. So a year ago, it's just so crazy to think about how far away I was from what I'm currently doing. So back then, I was contemplating trying to get into the tech field, like working with computers, because there's a lot of good paying jobs in that field. um, and I was just thinking of other career options too, because I was and am really burned out on teaching English at the community college level, so burned out on grading papers, just kind of exhausted about the prospect of going into the classroom and kind of performing every day, and just totally sick of essays in general, reading them, talking about them, etc. And just wanting to do something else, not to mention the fact that I've ended up feeling pretty bitter about being like a second class citizen as a part-time adjunct professor. Because just in case you don't know this, more than half of professors in the United States at all levels of college, more than half of them are part-timers, and this is for the same reasons that workers in all kinds of other fields are kept as part-timers, because then the institution does not have to pay them benefits. I don't get any benefits as a part-time instructor, and you don't have job security. Like, if there's not enough enrollment in your class, they cancel it before the semester starts or during the first week. Um, and and also, part-timers tend to get paid half as much or maybe two-thirds as much per course taught than full-time faculty. And they have the same qualifications. I have enough qualifications to get a full-time position at a community college, and I've applied a bunch of times. There just aren't enough positions for everybody who is a good teacher and qualified. So I just got to the point where I thought I can't go on like this. I cannot put energy into this anymore. I'm just getting more and more bitter, and it sucks. And I'm not making a living, still living at my mom's house. So I can't do it anymore. I'm done with it. Now, I am teaching a class this summer just to make money, but I did not teach this spring, and I'm not going to teach in the fall, which feels really good. And so instead of teaching, I've pretty much just gone back to school. So last fall, at the beginning of fall semester, almost a year ago, I I was looking into classes to take. Like, should I take a computer programming class or what? And I was throwing around some options, and then I thought, like, right at the weekend before the semester started, I thought, what I want to do, like what actually sounds fun, is to take a geology class. Because I've loved geology for a really long time. And I've said before, when people ask me, when I've talked about my career dilemma, they've said, like, well, if you could do any job you wanted, what would it be? And I said, well, I would love to be a geologist. But I can't really, because I'd have to go back to school, and I'd have to start with like the freshman types of science and math, and that would take so much time and money, and that's just not going to happen. But last fall, like I was just talking about, I thought, why not take a geology class? It gets me way more excited than anything else. Just do it. So I did it, and then like immediately I was like, this is so cool. It just feels so right to be in this classroom that has all the rock displays and had a giant geological map. I was just so jazzed, and I thought, I'm definitely going to stay in this class. And so I took geology last fall, and there was a lab as well. So I got to do some hands on stuff. And I just loved it. And I thought, well, I kind of want to keep going with it. And I talked with my professor a lot. He gave me some advice about like a path that I could go on to pursue geology. And I was just so into it, and I'd also met a couple of people who were geologists who made it sound like it could maybe be more likely than I thought to get a pretty decent paying job eventually. And so this last spring, I was actually a full time student. I was working as a geology tutor because I did very, very well in the class. So I tutored people who were in that class the next semester. And I took another geology class, and I took chemistry, like chemistry 101 type of thing, and I took pre-calculus math. And I did very, very well in all of those. And it felt kind of good. Like, all the professors for those classes wanted me to be a tutor for that class for the next semester. And it won't work out for my schedule to be a chemistry tutor, but I'm going to be a geology tutor again. And depending on how many hours of work I can squeeze in, I might be a math tutor. So, yeah, I'm just going for it. I'm like, this feels so good. I'm so into it. I love geology so much more than I ever claimed to like essays and writing. Because my thing has always been reading, poetry. But, yeah, so I'm just so into it. And then in the fall, well, this summer, I'm taking calculus in summer school, which is like 3 hours a day, 4 days a week for 6 weeks. It'll be interesting. And then I'm also teaching a class. So calculus will be in the mornings, and then I'll be teaching in the afternoons at the same college. So it's going to be a very intense 6 weeks. I'm not sure if it'll be doable or not, but I'm going to try. And then in the fall, I'm taking the next chemistry, and I'm taking physics. I have to take calculus before the physics. And then I'm also taking a GIS class, like geographic information systems. It's like with computers and GPS and stuff. So, yeah. And then I found out that it is not possible for somebody who already has a bachelor's to get accepted into a public university, at least in California, to get a second bachelor's. They're like, no, you already had your chance for a bachelor's. Get out of here. So since I will not be able to get a bachelor's in geology, I plan to try to take a couple of upper division geology classes at the university in my town, because local people can enroll in classes if there's room after the regular students have enrolled. So I'm going to try that. And then I plan to apply to a master's in geology, because it is a possibility to get into a master's even if you don't have a bachelor's in the field, if you have, the important, like, first couple years worth of classes like chemistry and physics and stuff. And then if you show a real commitment and if you're good at the subject and stuff. So that's my plan. And then I want to become a geologist of some kind. I don't know what kind yet. Or maybe even take it farther and go into research. I'm just not sure. So, yeah, I'm just so stoked on it. I've been enjoying the classes and trips. Geology is awesome because you get to go on trips. Not only just local day field trips, but also longer trips. I've gone on 2 4-day trips through my college, which have been awesome, like camping with geology. And then recently I did a 2-week trip with another college to the Utah and Arizona area because my college didn't offer anything like that. And that was amazing. Like, we drove in vans, we camped for 2 weeks in spectacular places, and I learned a ton about geology. Like, my brain just got jam packed with geology. It was awesome. Um, so, I'm just really excited. Feels great. So, that's one reason why I'm feeling good about my life right now. With transition and coming back to my hometown that I love, and then finally pursuing my geology passion. It's pretty good. Um, and I'm not in a relationship or anything. I think I'll make a different video about dating issues. And well, of course, I would really like the fun and excitement of having somebody to be with. I also have realized, like, wow, this is the first time in like 14 years or a little bit more that I have not been either in a relationship or totally heartbroken about somebody to a point where there's a lot of suffering involved. Or, so I'm kind of free from the emotional difficulties that come with dating and relationships. So that's nice for the time being. I mean, I would like to try to date, but I'm fine with the peace that I have at this moment.